Hello, and welcome to Indie Book Magic, a podcast that connects geek readers and writers in an open, lighthearted, and occasionally random environment. We're your friendly hosts, Janeen Ippolito and
H.L. Burke.
And what do we have in store for listeners today, Heidi?
Today we have in store a wonderful Q&A with some questions and from you guys and some answers from us.
So let's just go ahead and get started into this because I'm sure we have some really fun answers to give y'all. Let's see. If you purchase a piece of land, do you own that land all the way down to the center of the earth? Wow.
Yep.
I was not prepared for this one. I had not studied in advance. Today the answer is 42.
That sounds reasonable.
But Heidi, I hear you actually have some knowledge of this.
Yeah, I like to watch random fact videos for fun. And there was a Today I Found Out episode on this subject. And it was about how much you own over your land and under your land. And the answer is it really depends on where you live and what it says on your deed. Obviously, the over one, most places, unless you're a government that can create no-fly zones, you don't have the right to stop planes from flying over your house.
Oh.
You can't put up a mile-high fence and just keep those jets out. And the same kind of works for underneath, and it depends mineral and water rights, whether you have rights to those underneath your land. It depends on your deed and the jurisdictional laws where you live. So technically, no, you do not own all the way down to the center of the earth. You own down as far as your government lets you have. And that may not include the water underneath your land.
The thing is, I'm sure someone somewhere has tried to own these things, and so that's why there's these laws and how these things happen.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's a rule because someone tried.
It's because some idiot took a shotgun and tried to shoot down a jet plane that flew over his property. Get off my sky!
I was going to say that I actually believe. I really do.
I don't know if they have it set so exactly that Amazon drones are going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. But I do know if your neighbor has a tree that's limb extends onto your property, you can cut that branch usually, depending on local law. So just because it doesn't touch the ground doesn't mean you don't own it. So yeah, so that is that very technical answer, which I would suggest going to the YouTube channel Today I Found Out and see if you can find the full answer, because it's a lot more complicated, and probably I think they spent about 20 minutes on it. So
wow, cool. Learning something new every day.
Yeah, it was a very interesting episode. So let's move on to something a little less grounded. See what I did there? Sorry.
We have to.
Yeah. Okay. Your cat has suddenly turned into a dog dragon with no sign of him your cat dragon has suddenly turned into a dog dragon with no sign of him transforming back. How do you both react? Will either of you take him in? Do you know what he'll do as a dog dragon?
Okay, wait. See, here's the thing between cats and dogs. And the thing is, I love cats, but I've grown up with dogs, and I love dogs, and I know a lot about dogs. The thing is, it totally depends on the kind of breed, which was not discussed. Because a basset hound dog dragon will react very differently from a border collie dog dragon. One will probably never stop flying and will endlessly be trying to circle people and get them to be herded into an area. And the other one will be like, why does this thing even have wings? Because basset hounds, I could just picture this thing trying to get off the ground. It'll be like that giant caterpillar in A Bug's Life that gets the wings finally and these little tiny things.
I think the wings would be like its ears.
That would be awesome.
This flop.
See, I would take that and just based on cuteness. I don't think it would be an issue. If I saw a dog dragon, I would still adopt it and take it in and such, because that's just a fantastically fascinating creature.
Yeah, I've had dogs in my past that I was very attached to, and I have Kane, who is very attached to my husband and no one else. He's a German Shepherd, and they are very much single owner pets. So he loves my husband. He treats me with disdain and contempt.
I grew up with dachshunds and basset hounds and beagles. So all those, scent dogs that don't listen to you at all because you don't matter, because your smell is not as interesting as everything else around them.
I did have a Pomapoo once. I liked my Pomapoo.
So I think it really depends, like, on the kind of dog too. Like, okay, I gotta say, if it was a Yorkie, I don't know. Like a Yorkie, I might like say, Heidi, you can keep this.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm sure there's many lovely Yorkies in the world, but I do not have a good personal history with the Yorkie.
Yeah. Other than my Pomapoo, I've never had a good relationship with small dogs generally. I loved my Pomapoo Scooter. I didn't have him for very long. He got hit by a car. It was very sad.
Oh.
Yeah, but I could zip him up in my hoodie, and he would drive around just sticking his head out right under my chin.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's a complicated question. Unlike cats, that while they can have many personalities, you know, they're cats. Yeah. Dogs, it really changes depending on the breed you have there. So I'm guessing if Kane did turn into a dog dragon, what would happen, Heidi?
Flames everywhere. He has such an intense, like, protective, must control my space drive that he gets mad at leaves blowing across the yard and the birds who land on the fence. These are all trespassers who must be barked at fiercely. If he had fire too, nothing would be safe. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so make a mental note that should not happen.
Do not mix a dragon with a German Shepherd under any circumstances.
Yeah, let's not do that. Although I think a dragon mixed with a beagle would pretty much be the most adorable thing ever.
I could do that. Beagles very. I thought beagles are like the not too smart breed.
No, the hound dogs, you could argue that they're smart, but they're just really independent. So we judge how smart a dog is in part by how they can react to their environment and how well they listen to us. Hound dogs in general don't listen to people. I mean, you have to train them really well. You know, they're raised to follow their nose over following you, which is how they would find, game. So I don't know. I think a really smart beagle would be like adorable with dragon wings.
Yeah, and German Shepherds are like the third smartest dog, which is one of the reasons they're kind of annoying because they're very sneaky. Yeah, I like poodles, and poodles are really smart.
I was gonna say, yeah, that would be a thing. Maybe a golden retriever. That would be like the most chill thing ever. Retrievers are already chill mostly, unless they're poorly trained.
Yeah, it's just like the golden retriever. You get kind of the big happy idiot, but some of them are really energetic. So.
It's true. All right, so going on to the next question. Small press versus indie, meaning self-published, versus indie, meaning indie press. When is it better to go one route versus the other? Well, Heidi, I would say you and I are pretty well qualified to answer this because, I run a small press. You've been published through a small press and on your own, and I actually have also self-published as well as had things published in my own press. So,
for me, speed was the main issue for which products I choose to indie publish. When I started self-publishing, the main reason I did it instead of like starting inquiries was because I was really impatient. And it does take a while to find the right fit for a press. And then the press, they have other projects in front of you. They can't like move you to the front of the line just because you're a special snowflake. So it does take longer to do it with a small press. So if I'm really impatient, I usually go indie published, which is kind of my way I decide with my projects if I want to take them through Uncommon Universe or if I want to go through my own route. It's like, how much do I care about this being published within the next 3 months?
No, this is true. Because with small presses, especially the ones that are really run by like a decent number of people, which I'd recommend. It depends on what you want out of it. There are like small presses that is literally like one person behind the curtain. And then there are small presses like the one I run where it's literally people asking questions like they expect me to know everything. I'm like, no, I literally work with a team. I'm in charge of it, but I don't make all the decisions. Like I run a team. So it depends on what you want to go for that. But because of that, the benefits, of course, are like you get to work with a team. So it's not all on you. I know one of our authors like loves going through this because, she would never want to go through all the the finding a cover designer, the fixing all the problems yourself. You run through a small press, we are in charge of fixing all those things. Something doesn't look good on Amazon, something doesn't look good here. You need to get promos out. The press handles all of that for you. So that's one convenient thing about that. And it gets you places that you wouldn't normally go. Like our press will consign some of our authors' self-pub books through our tables. And so you can pick up the readers that way. So there's those perks to it, but speed is not something that you're going to go through a small press or especially a big press for.
Yeah, though speed of writing, sometimes it can free up some time. Like if I take one of my stories and I start to write it, normally I write it and then I give it to my beta readers and then I edit it and then I have to figure out the cover design, then I have to figure out the marketing. And after I finish writing a book, there can be another 2 to 3 months of work on me where I'm focused on that. And sometimes I'll have time to start another novel and like do it on the side, but it doesn't get my full attention as much as I'd like. Whereas if I, like when I hand a book to Uncommon Universes, I still have to help with some of those aspects. Like I get the edits back and I have to make changes and stuff. But I'm not like the only one working on it, like seeking things out and trying to vet things. And so a lot of times I'll start working immediately on the next process of writing the next book. And I will, it does speed up my writing a little bit, not having to worry about that. You do lose some control.
If you're a control freak, don't even try to submit to a small press or a big press because you will make yourself unhappy. You'll make the press unhappy. Everyone will be unhappy. Let's just not do this, guys. Like if you want to have control over everything, then God be with you. Self-pub.
Yeah, and it's weird the things that I decide I want to fight for. You don't lose complete creative control when you go
and
to
especially the smaller the press you go for, and if it's a good fit, then you can vet that stuff out ahead of time. Like that happens during contract negotiation. You can vet out, okay, well, I want this to look this. And, if the press agrees, then you sign the contract. If they don't, then you don't. Like
I said, that I fight for weird things, like my S on the end of my tord. It's like, it's not tord, it's tords. I don't say tord. Who says tord?
Actually,
you say tord?
It depends on my mood. Yeah. For me, people are often surprised because I run a small press and they're like, well, then why have you self-published? I'm like, well, first I'm running a business. So like, Heidi's stuff gets submitted to us. My stuff gets submitted to us. And I'm not the only making the decisions now, especially because we actually have an acquisitions editor on staff. So, and also the fact is that, the small presses have a particular brand. And if I want to write outside that brand, if I want to write something that's not quite what the press publishes, or if I want to get on a faster timeline for my sake, then, I'm not even going to try to submit it. I'm going to say, I'm going to do this on my own. I mean, I do writing resources. That doesn't make sense going through a fiction press for that. It's also, I think it can be smart, especially if you're an indie author. And this really comes down to whether or not how much time you have. If you're the kind of person that wants to put it like maybe one book a year, one book every other year, then just go for that. Choose the path of submitting to small presses, or choose the path of self-pubbing and just go for that. If you're the kind of person who wants to churn out a lot at once, like Heidi and I like to, there is benefit to not having all of your eggs in one basket, because it can mean like, I know Heidi mentioned one, she says, oh, I kind of had a slow month. Oh, and she got a royalty check from UUP, and she's like, oh, cool. I had nothing to do with that. That just kind of showed up. So I would say, there's, especially if you're trying to make this a business and, if you can put out more books quickly, it's not a bad thing to, submit things to different small presses and self-pub, because then you're diversifying your products, which sounds very business-like, but really if you're publishing that much, you're thinking of it as a business.
Yeah, and you can inquire and stuff. I mean, after I finished writing Coiled, I started writing, getting the idea for Spellsmith and Carver pretty quickly after that, and I think I dove right in, and I was like, are you guys interested in this? And so you guys were upfront with me that it wouldn't get on the publishing schedule for, I think, it was longer than I was willing to wait. I don't remember the exact. So instead I just boom, 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 and I got the first book. It's funny because I put Coiled through the press. I wrote Spellsmith and Carver. Spellsmith and Carver actually got published before Coiled did.
Yes.
It's not really a negative, I would say. It takes more time when you're dealing with a schedule and a bunch of people. There's a lot of moving parts, as opposed to me just in a caffeinated haze doing everything as quickly as I can until it's done.
And what you have to realize, again, if you're going for big presses, a lot of times you have to wait a while because it's a lot of things and they do a lot of marketing stuff. I mean, one of the things that a small press can offer as well is marketing stuff, a bit more limited than the bigger presses, but they can offer that. And the thing is, you need lead time to do those things. And that's something we're looking at with UP, making sure we have enough lead time to, to really make sure we get the reviews out there, to bump things up algorithms, et cetera. That takes time to do. And that's something you can offer as a small press, and it benefits us as a business. And if our business works well, then the authors do well because they get better royalties. So all those things kind of factor into that. So it really depends for small press versus self-pub. It depends on if you want to like partner and become part of a bigger business and, you know, work with them. And also I would say definitely make sure you like their other titles. Because a lot of, especially with small presses, big presses, they don't care as much, but small presses, you may be asked to cross promote, not in ways, I would say UP never asks you to cross promote things that, you know, aren't in your genre. But, you know, it's nice to, you know, help each other out. And so if you don't like any of the other titles they publish, if you don't like any of the authors they've published, then I would recommend don't submit to them because, you know, you're signing on to a small business. And even though they're going to handle a lot of things, it's nice to be able to share around with each other's stuff. If you're having very independent minded, very control minded, all those things, you want to, you know, plow your own manifest destiny into the universe, then do self-pub because you won't have to worry about anything.
I just got a mental picture of a covered wagon pushing a literal iron plow into the stars.
Oh my. So what's our next question?
I'm still on a trip about that covered wagon though. Hold on.
That's your next story inspiration. You'd add that to the story with the theater clapping, somewhere there has to be a covered wagon. And
yeah, into the stars. All right. Okay. Our next question is more of a scenario. Cat versus dragon. Who wins?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna throw this on you first.
Depends on a lot of situational things like terrain and strategy and whether the dragon is allergic to cats.
Oh wow. Yeah. This is kind of like Super Fight actually, if anyone's played that.
I instinctively want to say the cat. It can hide in smaller crack spots and wait for its moment. It can fall and land on all four legs. The fur is a major flame retardant, as I found out with my cat when he decided to sit next to a stove burner and singed his tail. He did not get harmed at all, but the kitchen smelled like cat fur for like an hour. So the cat has a lot of advantages. Of course, size of dragon matters because if your dragon is smog size plus, there's not really much a cat can do. If the cat does not have some sort of cat magic, which is also an option in certain worlds. I mean, if the world has dragons, I'm not taking cat magic off the table. So I vote for cat conditionally.
Conditionally. I'm very much on dragons. Just because they have so much naturally going for them as being reptiles and everything. Like they're going to be much, much harder to injure than a cat is. They're going to be much more durable. They're going to have longer endurance. They're going to have the patience. I think they can actually outstubborn a cat. And they can breathe fire. So I just think in terms of like just sheer durability, the cat is where it's not going to stand a chance.
Bruce takes down lizards like nothing. It's like
well, that goes down to size, you know. Like if this is a dragon that's like significantly bigger than the Bruce, I think the Bruce is going down.
Yeah, I want to say the cat can do it. I have so much faith in their catliness. I just think that they would find a way. They are cleverer than dragons in my mind. I know dragons think very highly of themselves. The cats are sneaky little. I was going to say a word.
I felt your word. I felt your word, Nikki. That, and I agree. They are sneaky little things, but I don't know. I feel like it's a draw then because I'm definitely still Team Dragon there. Like I really think that just the strains that they bring to the table, the cat can't really. It's just not going to win. Like I just don't see it happening.
It's like the ultimate D&D campaign.
Tiny dragons of tininess, and then like size wins out.
Or giant cats.
That's true. Or giant cats. Well, the thing is, then it's like, how motivated is the cat?
That's life on the line. Well, I mean, what are they fighting over? Is it just to the death, or do they want something from the other?
Yeah, I'm going to say, the half thing I see is at least on both ends. I could very much even just calling it a draw.
I just don't think they would even care. It's like they would get into it a little bit and both go take a nap.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't benefiting us. What human set us up to this?
Yes, exactly. Those humans.
Alrighty. So, if you were a dragon with elemental powers, what power would you have?
There's a lot of different ways you can come at this, because if you're like, which philosophy do you identify with the most? If we're going like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm definitely an Airbender. If you go, which one is the most fun? It's always fire. You got to choose fire.
Yeah, see, I can't do anything else but fire. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if I'm gonna be a dragon, like, I better be able to, like, seriously barbecue things.
And see, I can't see a dragon not having control over wind because he's got those wings and breath. If you just turn off the fire breath, then you just have wind. So, kind of a package deal.
So I would say those things should have to go together. I mean, water, I'm sorry. Like, if you look at mythology, water dragons, like, they don't have wings. Some of them don't even have all the feet, the legs. It's really cool to think of a dragon, sinisterly coming out of the water, and like, waiting for people to like, fall and you can eat them. But other than that, I mean, you can't fly. Maybe fire.
Why don't we twist this up and the elemental? We're thinking of this, the 4 elements. What if it's the whole periodic table?
Oh goodness. Wouldn't it be the fun of a helium dragon? So you just like burp or something and you get higher and higher in the sky.
It's like the plutonium dragon. You don't mess with him.
Oh my goodness. Well, this like, I'm trying to think.
There's so many options.
Yeah. That would be, now we need to have a periodic table made with dragons.
Neon dragon. Ooh, I want it.
Yes, that is a thing.
Such a thing.
So let's see, what's up next week?
Oh my gosh, next week we are going to have an extra special monthly interview with a secret guest of awesome, but they are going to, let's give us some hints. They're going to be talking about fun family dynamics in their fairy tales.
Ooh, so someone with fun family dynamics and fairy tales. It's like the person writing the script loved alliteration.
I know. I think they were just trying to get me to trip up and pronounce something funny.
They would never do that.
Never.
Well, thank you all for tuning into Indie Book Magic this week. Please give us shout outs on Twitter, on Facebook, on iTunes, and let us know what you think and are pondering, and, even give us ideas for upcoming shows, because we'll actually take those sometimes. And for now, signing off, this is Janeen Ippolito and
H.L. Burke. Bye.